Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another little segment of hashtag CB99 Talks. This ain't going to be a long segment, but just definitely a segment I wanted to discuss a boxing topic. I haven't really talked too much boxing over here as much as I should be. You know, I'm a diehard boxing fan, but I'm also going to have a channel update. So, I'll probably fill y'all in on that at the end of this video or now. That'll probably be best. I think, since I'm doing this hashtag CB99 Talks podcast, I need to start like picking days, like a scheduled day to put the show out. And also like, just because there's like a lot of topics that I want to talk about, like, women's MMA and boxing, I'm thinking about doing a separate show for each. I'm thinking about doing a show on Tuesday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday now. Schedule a podcast show on Tuesday and Thursday. And on Tuesday is going to be the boxing show, and on Thursday is going to be like the MMA show, or vice versa, or if y'all want it all together, let me know in the comments section. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to start doing a boxing show on Tuesday and then doing the women's MMA or MMA show on Thursday, if that works out better. But yeah, man, just back with this boxing talk right here, man. As you know, September 12th, we have Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson facing off in an 8-round exhibition fight. And this is like a long overdue match that I've been wanting to see, back whenever Roy Jones was in his prime. This was the years when I was growing up. This was a fight that was talked about when Roy moved up to heavyweight. Even before he won the heavyweight title, it was always a fight that was talked about as far as like, him going up for like a one-shot deal at heavyweight. And I remember, back in the day, like 96, 97, Roy was that good. Roy was that prime that they used to match him up with everybody. They matched him up with everybody from 160 to heavyweight. And because that's how impressive and spectacular his style was. And that's how much of a, what do you want to call it? Like a phenomenon he was, nobody had a style like him. And the more and more he moved up, it was just like he was outclassing so many opponents. So there was always like, we need to match this guy up with somebody, and everybody, in the Ring magazine back then, Showtime, Burt Sugar, all these guys, they were always trying to match him up. And, some of the names they used to come up with some heavyweights, they used to talk about matching Roy up with Buster Douglas. At the time, Buster Douglas had just come off of a layoff. He was kind of overweight at the time, but I think it was like Roy Jones' father, Roy Sr. didn't want him to take that risky fight. There was also talks of him fighting Michael Moore or Evander Holyfield. But Roy already expressed that, it'd probably be like a 1 or 2 shot deal, and he didn't want to go in with like a super heavyweight, which is smart. He never wanted to fight somebody like a Riddick Bowe or Lennox Lewis. It was always like Evander, Michael Moore, or Mike Tyson. And so I was always like, I think there's a possibility, like, with Roy's speed and Roy's power and that quickness and the body work he used to have back in the day, like, year 2000, Roy 2001, he definitely could have hung with Mike Tyson in 2000 to 2001. Now, if you're talking like 80s Mike or 93 or 94 Mike, you can forget it, just to be honest. Back then that was just a different realm. But I think the more that Roy got more developed as far as his size and his power, and the more Mike kind of decreased, and, the prime Mike, it definitely would have made a nice matchup. So, the fight never happened, as you know. 2003, March 2003, Roy, he won the WBA heavyweight title against John Ruiz. And then there was talks and rumors about, negotiations of Mike Tyson and Roy possibly fighting. I think there was even talks of him fighting in Africa. And there was talks of Roy getting up to 40, 30 million. I think that was some rumors. I never really heard it out of Roy's mouth. But there were some people saying that Roy turned it down, which to me, I don't think he did. Because, and there was some other talks where Roy said that money was never offered because Mike Tyson wasn't interested in the fight at the time. So the fight never happened. Roy went off to make more history by, of course, winning the heavyweight title, moving back down and winning the light heavyweight title in a close fight with Tarver, which then that would have been a perfect ride off in the sunset. If you couldn't get the Mike fight and you barely beat Tarver, that would have been the perfect fight to just kind of say, okay, I'm done. Let me get out of here now because there's no more fights for me. But as you know, after the first Tarver fight, he stuck around, and we all know how that kind of went down from there. But yeah, back then, that Mike Tyson and Roy fight was big. It was a fight that a lot of people wanted to see. Like I said, 2003, I wanted to see it. I still felt like that would have been a good challenge for Roy in his career to see if he could really hang with even with the Mike that had already got beaten by Lennox Lewis, because that was damaged Mike for a heavyweight against guys like Lennox Lewis and Holyfield and so on, but it would have still been a dangerous challenge for a guy like Roy Jones. But yeah, man, I really wish that fight would have happened. But, fast forward all the way to now, 17 years later, we finally get these guys in talks to actually have a fight, an exhibition match now. And, my thoughts on it overall, I'm cool with it, because the word right there that really, can kind of put people at ease and just kind of understand where they're coming from is exhibition. It's an exhibition match. It's not really like these guys are, being put back into the rankings of a sanctioning body, and they're trying to go back out there and, face off and fight against each other, then face off against Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Nothing crazy like that, So I can kind of, respect that, because there's still a part of me, there's still that late teenager in me that wants to see Roy Jones and Mike Tyson in the ring together, like any version of them. I just want to see these two sized up against each other at a face-off, and I just want to see them how their styles will come together, even if they're like shadows of themselves, or former shells of themselves. I still kind of want to see them get in the ring and do that, and I just always want to see how Roy would react to the animal in Mike. I see Mike already kind of talking trash on some of these little previews of the docu-series that they're going to do on Triller. Roy, he's just, being him. He's saying that, I know Mike is big, but hey, I'm not scared of anybody, so I'm liking that buildup. I could just imagine how that would have been back, like 17 years ago. It would have been real. It would have been some really, it would have been some real fireworks there, man. But yeah, like I said, this is a 8-round exhibition fight. It's going to be on a pay-per-view on, I think, someone would call Trill Network or Triller. Mike is really pushing this, and there's going to be like a 10-part docu-series also. And it's going to be like a little pay-per-view, so I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it, like I said, and I'm not really like going in here really worried about either fighter at this point, because this is the fight that they should take if they still want to just have fun with it. Like there were some people saying that, Mike, he looks good in training, but he's not going to perform to like the elite level. Of course not. I seen him looking like an animal in training, but I know that him at 51 is not going to be that killer Mike if he was to get in the ring with like a legit heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like he's still going to be, he still really is a 51-year-old man, but he could still give any guy out there work, just anybody off the street, let that be known. But as far as him going in there with like a legit heavyweight, of course he's not going to withstand the chance, But if he wants to go in there and just kind of like do what he's been doing, like inspiring me, just inspiring me by, saying, hey, if he's this age, he can do it. I need to get off my ass and train harder, I work out, but I need to train harder seeing this 51-year-old man do this. But I think it's just nice for some of these fighters that can still get out and do exhibition matches if they want, same with Roy. Like Roy, he retired 2 years ago after that last fight on UFC Fight Pass against an opponent, Scott Sigmund, but from there, he hasn't really, he's been training, shout out to Michael Williams Jr. He's been training a fighter that I know, personally. And, he's been doing his promotional thing, over in Russia as well. So I know that fight bug is still in him, so if they want to get it on in the exhibition match, that's cool, but other than that, like, I don't think either of these guys can compete on a heavyweight level. So just let them do them now, man. But I am, like I said, I'm looking forward to it just to see what both guys can bring to the table. As far as more of a technical breakdown, I might revisit this on a episode next week. Like I said, I'm going to do a boxing episode Tuesday. and then drop my women's MMA episode on Thursday. I'm going to talk more about how this fight would have went before, and I'm going to talk about how this fight could go now as well, and what advantages both fighters have now, just by looking at Mike. Because remember, Mike, he's been out of, Mike, he's been out of the ring for 15 years. Mike's been out since that Kevin McBride loss where, he lost that fight by TKO in like the 7th round where he just sat down. He didn't answer the bell anymore. He just had enough. And I think it was more just like a mental thing. He just kind of mentally quit. And, from there, he just kind of retired from the game. So got to factor that in. That's how he left the game off. So we're going to see if Mike refound something in himself after 15 years, because Mike never looked like the same animal, in the past 15 years, even though as far as the way he talked, he just seemed more like a chill dude. So we're going to see if that animal is back, or part of that animal is back on September 12th. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this, guys. Like I said, I'll talk more about this on Tuesday when I drop this episode. But yeah, just make sure y'all subscribe and let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Do you want to see a boxing episode on Tuesday and the MMA episode on Thursday, or vice versa? But yeah, man, thanks to my new subscribers. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Make sure y'all subscribe. Peace.